video 2 of my 30-week video challenge for myself. I'm looking to make my videos as valuable as possible to someone out there that's watching. This video is intended for someone who is an immigrant, like me, who is an immigrant, and they are now wanting to make some more money. That's all I'm looking to talk to. I'm not the best person to talk to about weight loss and relationships. You know, I might have some opinions, but it doesn't really matter, because I think the place that I think I'm really good at is because I really stressed upon how to make some more money. If you're someone who is already, you're a student in America, or you're an immigrant who, found yourself a small cash job and you're working and you want to like make some more money. The most I've made so far is like maybe 12, 13,000 a month. So you want to make some more and you want to learn how to do that. The problem that we have for the most part is that when we come from a different country, the good thing is we're hardworking, we have the work ethic, because we've seen how it is to work. We've seen how it is when people don't have money. You see stuff that, here it's not really as common. If someone who's doesn't have money in America, it's not as bad compared to someone not having money in, I don't know, Mexico or Tanzania or Kenya or Uganda. It's very different. So one thing for sure is that you have more a hard work ethical mentality that most people here don't have. You have the hunger, and that's the most important thing, because one of the things that we all as humans always forget, and it's a big problem for us as well, is that we always forget, or we don't take account of what we do have. We're always focused on what we don't have, and I think that holds us back as a lot more than we think. Like if we're always constantly thinking about, man, I wish I had this, I wish I had that, I wish I had that, instead of thinking about like, okay, I have this, what could I do with it? That's always a mentality that I think could help you. So the first thing that you should actually take away is take inventory of what you do have already. Like if you're good at, I don't know, drawing, if you're good at editing, if you're good at, I don't know, selling, like those are things you could capitalize on. Now, if you're not good at anything, then you can actually start investing time and money into getting good at something. You could always buy a book about something and start learning. And, one of the biggest problems too that I notice is that sometimes we take our identity from people that we shouldn't have been listening to in the first place. Someone in your school told you that you're dumb. Someone in, 5th grade said that you're slow, and then you just accept that. And the reason why is that for some reason we want to be acceptable, and we want to be accepted by someone in society. But the thing is, sometimes that might not be the benefit. It might not give us any benefit. So we need to also be able to learn that if something's coming, if you have something that's limiting you in your belief, you have to realize where it's coming from. Like, why do I feel like I am a failure? Why do I feel like I'm dumb? Why do I feel like I'm slow? Is it really true, or is it because someone told me? And if someone told you and you're still accepting it, then it's up to you now to fix that. One of the things that we should stop doing is we should stop looking outside and look inside. So I'll give you an example. And of course, where I'm coming from is coming from me. I'm not coming for you, because this is me too. When I first came to America, I was working the car wash, working 70 hours a week, and I was barely making $400. And for the longest time, I was just thinking like, man, I don't have I don't have a social security number, I don't have this, and I can't work anywhere else. And that's always what I used to think. But the thing is that when I later switched my mindset to thinking, okay, what do I have? Well, I have a hard work ethic. I'm a quick learner, so I can learn anything, and I'm good with people. So what I said, you know what? Let me go and learn a different skill. So I went and learned how to cook. And then when I learned how to cook, I found a job in a restaurant. Then I started making more money. So it literally was that switch changed everything. Because if you focus on what you have instead of focusing on what you don't have, you have more, you suddenly things open up. So, if someone who reads the Bible all the time, I don't read, I'm amateur, but if you even think about the first temptation that humans had, that Adam and Eve had, was God gave Adam and Eve a whole garden full of everything they could have. And he only told them, you cannot eat only this one thing. But then And they were fine until the serpent or Satan had them focus on what they didn't have. And as soon as they, because Satan knows that if you focus on what you don't have, suddenly you would actually focus more on it. If someone tells you don't do this, you would like, it's almost like everything else goes away and you just think about that. It's like, as humans, for some reason, we're so attracted to something that we can't have or something that we don't have. We're always looking at someone else thinking like, man, I wish I had this person's this. I wish I had this person that. But then what if we just, instead of doing that, think about you. What do you have right now? I mean, cool, it sucks that you weren't born in a rich family. It sucks that, I don't know, you didn't have as much money as you wanted to have. It sucks that maybe you had a kid early, you know, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, cool, it happened. Now what's next? What do I have now? And this is something that I'm saying right now because I'm also turning this to myself. It's not like I'm looking to, you know, talk. And if anything, I'm also making these videos because I know, I know if I went back in time to those days when I was looking for answers, if I had went and searched on YouTube and found someone who explained these things, it would have been, I would have got the result that I got faster. Because all I'm looking to help you right now is help you save time. Because at the end of the day, if you can get to a result faster, then I did my job. And you know, I hope this helps. So that's one thing. We always focus on that. And that's another thing now that always stops us, you know, always stopped me at least, was just that thinking that someone cares. You know, like it took me a while to start posting on YouTube. And the long time, the time it took for me to post on YouTube, the biggest reason was because I thought someone from high school would see it, someone would just say something, like someone would watch it and be like, man, like, you're so dumb, or you look so stupid, or whatever. And those things made me not post on YouTube. It took me a while to go and look for another job because I thought someone out there is gonna come and find out and get me and all that stuff. But the thing is, nobody really cares about you as much as you think. Like at the end of the day, and this is one of the first things you learn as an adult, is you learn that, cool, your parents, you know, they care about you, they love you and all that. But for the most part, apart from them, nobody else really cares about you that much. But then if anything, if they care about you, they're actually rooting for you. The real, like in general, for the most part, people are rooting for you. Now, of course, when you do get to a certain point of like fame and stuff, then you would have haters. Haters will always come because that's what they do. Like you can't blame someone for being a hater because a hater is actually someone that hates. That's what they do. So you just have to let them do what they do. But for the most part, especially in the beginning, when you're still trying to like make it or do stuff, people are actually rooting for you. If you look at anything, if you look at Americans Got Talent, British Got Talent, if you look at any show that someone's presenting in front of a lot of people, these actually people are actually hoping this person does well. Like if you think about it, if you went to college and took a speech class and you had to speak in front of people in your class, you know, for the most part, it's a scary thing to talk in public. But if you think about it, if you're actually on the other side and watching someone speak in public, the last thing you want is for that person to be embarrassed and fail. You actually want that person to do well. Unless you're some psychopath who just doesn't want to. But for the most part, as humans, we actually want someone else to succeed. So with that in mind, if you're thinking that someone's out there to get you, someone's out there to try to embarrass you, that's not true. That's just something you got from someone, because the most people that we see is famous people. And with fame, it comes with hate. It comes with a degree. But for the most part, even the hate isn't as much as they think. It's just that the haters are louder than the people that are rooting for you. For the most part, people who are rooting for you will mostly be quiet compared to the people that are hating. And that's the reason why it looks like there's more people hating. But the reality is, for the most part, people are rooting for you. So if you're like scared to do something that involves getting yourself out there in public, like really, to be honest, and I'm telling you because it's me and you right now, you're watching this, people are actually rooting for you, and everyone wants to see you succeed. And if they don't want to see you succeed, for the most part, it's because they actually don't care. And I mean, for the most part, as humans, we are selfish. We are intuitively selfish. Since if you look at kids, if you look at how when you talk to someone in a conversation, for the most part, you're thinking about talking about yourself. If you challenge yourself to talk to someone and you actually not don't use the word I and just focus on you and ask more questions, it's actually harder for people to do that. But then when you do that, you actually notice how as humans we're very self conscious. We're very much like we're living a world that we're like almost creating, and that's why what you believe is what you create for the most part. If you believe that everyone's out there tries to, I don't know, scam you and rob you and all that, that's what you attract to your life. So one of the things we have to do is that we need to stop letting beliefs that don't serve us stay in our brains. If you want the best for yourself, then actually start looking for stuff like that. So so what's my point? My point is, if you're out there and you're looking for a job and you're thinking like, man, how do I make some more money? One of the first things you need to do in order to have a bigger success, a higher success rate, is to take inventory of your gifts. What are the things you're good at? And that's one of the things, like, and if it's something that you're not good at, but it's something that you want to be good at, you can also try and go for it. So if you're at a job and you're working and you really don't, like when I work at a car wash, I enjoyed it at some point, but then at some point too, I was like, okay, I don't want to do this forever. So you want to learn a next skill, for you to actually go and do something else, or you could either do the same thing, but then serve on a higher level of value. So I guess I got to this point, so I might as well talk about it, but you'll see it in other videos as well. But it's something that I learned, and it sucks that the least paying job is a job of doing the thing. So if you look at hotels, the persons that are paid the least are the housekeepers, and they work the most because literally you have to clean the room and all that, but then they're the least paid. If you look at car washes, the person that's get paid the least, the person that's washing the car. If you look at Walmart, whatever stores, people who are actually doing the thing are paid the least. And the reason for that is because the thing that you do has it only has as much value. For you to make more money with in your life, or in doing a thing, is that you need to learn to do something that's worth more money. And unfortunately, cool, life is not fair, whatever, but doing the thing isn't worth as much as managing people to do the thing. So that's why managers get paid more. A manager, all they have to do is literally collect people in a group and get them into a system that works so that everyone can work as a system. And that's worth more than you just going to do your thing. Like it's way, and believe it or not, it's easier to be a manager than it is to be the one doing the thing. But then again, also that easier depends on what you tell yourself. If you tell yourself that it's hard to have to deal with conflicts between people, it's hard to make sure the job is done because you're the manager, then you feel like being a manager is hard. But then at the end of the day, it uses less muscle to go and help to get people to work together than to actually go and use your muscles and do things, and you get tired. Like I used to wash cars for 3 years before becoming a manager. And when I became the manager, I was like, man, being a manager, I am not as tired when I'm done working. Because washing the cars, I'm using my muscle, I'm getting wet. But being a manager, I'm making sure this person is on time, I'm making sure this car is clean, I'm making sure all the things are happening. So now it's the less physical work, it's a little bit more mental work, but to me, that's easier. And I think because I also told myself that. So, and then of course, apart from that now, it's more valuable now to communicate value instead of being a manager. Now, if your job is going out there and getting new business, going out there and and selling an idea to in front of people, that's worth way more than managing people. And it's easier to do that. Once you learn how to do it, it's easier. Of course, because as humans, we're sometimes we're very programmed, at least in immigrants where I was born, you're programmed like hard work, hard work, hard work. And then one day, magically, you're gonna get paid more. I think hard work helps. It's just that because it helps, because you would notice, now when you get to something else that makes you more money, you would have more respect for it because you learned how this side works. Like after washing cars for 3 years, now doing what I do now, I'm like, this is like the easiest thing ever. And I'd rather do this. And that's because I value how I did before. And a point that I forgot to touch on, which is expectations. So because I even mentioned with your beliefs. So one thing that makes us stop doing what we want to do or de-energize us to doing something is how we expect an outcome that's not favorable. Like the reason I'm doing this YouTube video right now is because I told myself that if I do 30 videos every week for 30 weeks, I do 30 videos, one video a week, that I might get 1,000 subscribers. Maybe not, but then I told myself that doing this would help me get to a certain goal that I want to. But if I told myself like, oh, I'm gonna make videos and no one's gonna watch them and no one's gonna like them, then of course I wouldn't do any videos. So we have to also learn how to tell ourselves, how to give ourselves expectations that empower us. So if we tell ourselves things that give us energy to do something, that's actually like almost like us giving ourselves, it's like a superpower, because you can make yourself do anything. You can tell yourself like, I'm gonna become the president of whatever country you want to become. And then if you tell yourself that and you find out the things you need to do to get to that goal, you will start doing them because you already believe that you're going to be that person. So you're expecting it. And if you expect it, you will do it. But then if you expect that you won't get anywhere, then of course you won't do it. So, I hope this video helps. So of course in this video I talked more about mindset because I think once someone gets the mindset right, everything else follows. So the reason why it's called mindset is that it's almost like a thermostat. You know, if you're living in America already, you see that people have thermostats in their house where you set a certain temperature and the house stays in that temperature. If you have a certain mindset, if you tell yourself like, okay, I am not gonna accept less than this much money a month, or if you tell yourself that you're gonna carry yourself at a certain level, let's say punctuality. And that's another thing that I always like to touch on. If you're not someone who is punctual with your time, like, I don't even know how you're, like, for you to get to a point where, you know, you're respecting people and you're making some more money and stuff, I believe you need to respect time, because time is the most valuable thing that we have. Because, you know, you can always make more money, you can always get something and lose it and get it back, but then money and time, you can never do that. So if you're not punctual with your time, that's not going to help you. So, and I don't know how to explain this in a way that, you know, if you're struggling with time, but you need to change that. If you're late every time, yeah, you need to change that, because the more higher you move, these things, small things matter. Your hygiene, your time management, even the way you speak and carry yourself, the way you walk, these are things that matter and people look at. So take a book, learn how, you know, like the book, How to Make Friends and Influence People, or how to present yourself in a good way, because you need to work on that. I hope this video helps, and I'll see you on video 3. Thanks for watching.